Hey everybody, it's time for another Mini Mondays, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 cartoons I'm never going to review. Now this isn't exclusively cartoons, it's just, well, I couldn't fit the entire title in the thumbnail and title, so whatever. It's just top 5 pieces of animation that I'm never going to review. Now let me just specify before I start that this doesn't mean that these cartoons are totally off the table. Some kind of circumstances could allow me to review them in the future, but for now, during this video and in the future, I am not planning to do any reviews of these cartoons and anime. Or genres, or something like that. Okay? Get it? Alright then, let's begin. So number 5 would have to be Mega Babies. Now the reason I'm not going to review this cartoon is because, well, it's horrible. And not just in animation quality, but the content is pretty horrible. It's so juvenile with its use of barf and poop and farts and pee that I have no interest in it, because all it's gonna be, a review, is just me bitching about how juvenile it is for about 20 minutes, which isn't fun. You know, none of the characters are interesting, the plot is terrible, it's so gross and immature that there's really nothing interesting I could say about it. So it's definitely one that maybe I could review in the future, possibly. Like, it's not off the table for any really serious reasons, it's just, I feel like even though people do want me to review it, I have nothing interesting to say about it. So for now, it's off the table completely. Okay. And number 4 is any anime or cartoon that's super long and has a lot of episodes. Now I know that's not very specific, but a lot of people want me to review shows like Naruto, One Piece, The Simpsons, all of these shows, Bleach, tons of shows that have so many episodes, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, that it's impossible for me to review them. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, why don't you just watch a few episodes and review from that? Well, see, a lot of you don't know, but I do watch the entire series of a thing that I review, because things change over time. I mean, look at Adventure Time. If I reviewed Adventure Time just based on the first 3 episodes, everyone would be like, what the hell are you talking about? So I don't want to review these shows because I don't think I'd be able to do them justice. See, I schedule my reviews year in advance. Like, I am scheduled all the way through to the end of 2017. So I don't feel like I could give these shows justice because I'd have to set like half a year aside just to watch these ones, which means if you want me to review really long shows, I'm gonna have to get rid of all the other reviews in between. So I would like to review them, especially Naruto, because I really would like to do a review of that at some point. It's just, what with my scheduling and the fact that I do have to work a job as well, it's not possible right now. Again, that might change in the future. I have done long cartoons in the past, like Family Guy, but that's because I watched them beforehand. You know, I've watched them over time. So, yeah, it's definitely not impossible in content, it's just impossible in length. So, they're not going to be appearing anytime soon. And number 3 would have to be Reboot. Now, I'm not going to review Reboot because it terrifies me. And that may sound kind of stupid, and it is stupid, to be honest. It's very stupid, but Reboot was one of my childhood terrors because the CG was so off-putting when I was a kid that it literally terrified me to watch the show, and I would change the channel every time it turned on, especially Hexadecimal. It just scare the shit out of me every time that she'd come on screen. So I know it's silly that I wouldn't review something based on a childhood terror, and yeah, I doubt I'd be scared of it now, but I just think that the whole review would just be me commenting on how scared I was at the time. So I don't know if I'd review this in the future. Let's just say that it's not on the table right now for review, but if someone really wanted me to do it, like, I don't know, if there was some circumstance that convinced me to review it, I would. Maybe I'd do it as a Halloween special or something, and that could sort of justify how scared I was at the time, maybe. But for now, yeah, it's not being considered for review, because I just don't think I'd have anything interesting to say about it other than, oh my god, it scared me as a kid! Something like that. So, yeah. And number 2 is any pornographic cartoons or hentai. Now, the reason I'm talking about this one, and obviously I can't show any clips, but the reason I'm talking about this one in particular is because porn and hentai generally don't have stories. Now, this would be okay if I was the type of reviewer that experienced things, so Nostalgia Critic, The Cinema Snob, Linkara, JonTron, all these guys who sort of experienced the things as opposed to review them. If I was that kind of reviewer, I'd have no problem doing porn or hentai or anything like that. But I'm a reviewer that breaks things down. I put them into sections. So with hentai and porn, there's never story. There's never really characters. You know, there's not a point to it other than just sex or fetish work or anything like that. So commenting on a story when it's not really supposed to be there in the first place, or picking apart characters that aren't supposed to be deep and complex anyway, it seems a bit pointless. So I know I'd done a couple cartoons where the focus was more on the sexy side of it, like Danmachi, but there is a story and there are characters, and the primary focus is to titillate but not show sex, which I think is a little bit different. So yeah, those types of cartoons and anime aren't off the table, but yeah, so a lot of people actually have asked me to review Boku no Pico, which is one I'm not going to review, and that's not a maybe, that's a no, because not only could I not show any interesting footage from it on YouTube, but it's just, why do you want me to review it? You know I'm just going to say it's sick and gross, which that's not fair for me to say, because everyone's turned on by something different. It's not fair of me to judge people's fetishes and proclivities and everything. It's not cool for me to do that. So yeah, I'm sure I would be disgusted by it, but it's not fair of me to judge other people for liking it. You know, I like my share of weird things too, so who cares? So yeah, porn and hentai, off the table, 100%. And number 1 is Code Lyoko. Now, I'm going to tell you a bit of a story here. I'm going to tell you that Code Lyoko actually was scheduled for a November review. Yes, it was on the schedule for this year. And I started watching it. I watched about 4 episodes, and I couldn't stand it. Usually when I hate cartoons, even really terrible ones like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog or Legend of the Crystals, I can still make it through it because I feel like I can get something funny out of it. You know, sometimes being really upset at a terrible thing can be funny. But with Code Lyoko, it's so genuinely awful that I don't know what I'm gonna say about it. Like, the voice acting is horrendous, the animation is terrible, the plot is stupid, in my opinion, and the characters are totally unlikable. They're like pieces of plastic and cardboard. There's just nothing to say about it. And yes, sure, you could say I'm being unfair, that, oh, you only watched 4 episodes, it's not enough, but I just can't. I can't do it. And it's the only cartoon I could ever say that I can't review it. And also, well, it's not entirely my fault, but the amount of times it's been requested, yeah, it's turned into a joke now. It's my equivalent of I hate Mars bars. You know, I hate everything's I hate Mars bars, where it's a joke now, and I don't respond well to jokes, so, or at least jokes in that nature where you guys are bugging me all the time. So I made a joke actually a while ago that every time someone suggests Code Lyoko, gets pushed back a week on my schedule. And given the amount of times it's been suggested, I wouldn't review it till like 2100. So yeah, not only is the quality of it terrible, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes on this one, because I feel like because of the harassment I've gotten and the jokes regarding the review of this, I wouldn't be able to give it a fair review. My anger towards the constant requests would make me biased towards the cartoon. Like, I went into the first episodes pissed off. So that's not a fair way to review something. Going in with bias is not fair. And of course you could say no one's free of bias, and that's true. But yeah, this is sort of a self-imposed bias, you know, going with a big frown and everything. And that's not fair. You know, I don't think a review like that would be entertaining. I don't think it'd be fun for people, so I'm just not gonna do it. And I know that's disappointing to a lot of people, because there are quite a few people who genuinely want to see my thoughts on it. Well, here, I'm gonna do a mini review of it right now. Like I said earlier, characters suck. Animation is terrible. The voice acting is horrid. The animation... Wait, I already said that. It just, overall, nothing. I couldn't find anything about it, but the theme song is catchy. I will say that. It's a good theme song. So, yeah, let me just clarify, though, that when you guys suggest stuff to me, cartoons and the like, I do take them all into consideration. I do have a very large list, and people who repeatedly suggest things to me, you don't have to do that. If you suggest something to me, I read every comment, Every message I get, if you suggested something to me, then it's on the list. So, yeah. I do appreciate all your guys' suggestions, I really do, and everything, if it's animated, it's up for consideration. It's just if I think the review isn't going to be entertaining, or if it's going to be inappropriate, or if it's going to be just boring overall, then I think I'm going to skip it. And I hope that doesn't disappoint too many people, but I just want to be honest with this Mini Mondays. And if you guys ever want to know more, feel free to message me or comment or whatever. You guys' comments and messages are always taken into consideration. And that's all I have to say about that.